Hey guys, this is me Hack again, and in this video we are going to do a machine from one lab called down. So let's get started, shall we? So up here, like we started with something very basic, nmap scan. We had like few like basic flags, which is like SC for the default script, SV for versioning, OS for orbital formats. We did the full port scan, and up here we have min rate, which I would recommend if you're doing like an actual pen test. And why I would recommend is because it can be destructive sometimes, because it's like super noisy and it can possibly like affect like a legacy system maybe. But yeah, anyways, so from our nmap scan we can see like there's like two ports open, which is like SSH and port 80. Port 80 is our HTTP web server, right? So we will go ahead and start exploring our server, right? So up here we can see an application something like this. So when I saw this web page, I was like, yeah, like the path is kind of like straightforward. It would be a crazy like easy ssrf, right? So there is an ssrf, but uh, it won't lead us anywhere. So we can actually like make a request to the local host, something like this, right? But so from here my initial other plan was, okay, so this is an ssrf attack. I can also do a port scanning using ssrf and try to look out for any internal web application, or any internal like server or service, right? But that ended up failing. But if you want to do a port scanning using ssrf, you are free to do it. But since this is like a quick walkthrough, I won't be showing you that bit. So from here now, like I ended up like intercepting the response in burp suite, something like this. So the request was something like this, right? But this is the actual way to hack it. Let me copy the payload and open another tab, and let me zoom in. Can I zoom in? Okay, so up here, uh, this was the initial request, right? And this is the part which I have added up here. So basically, so at first I tried something like this, at the rate file etc password, like you get the deal, right? So my initial plan was like, if I can add the rate, maybe like somehow it will get redirected and it will start using like this like specific protocol called file protocol. um, but that did not work. Then my other plan was like, maybe I can directly use like file uh, etc password. But that won't work either, because uh, on the back end, like your uh, there's a check which would only allow request if you have all, where it will only allow request if it's like http or https, right? So the way to bypass this is like using a, a payload something like this, right? So plus symbol is basically a space, right? And file, like a typical place where you would see an index.php file, right? And after getting index.php file, we can actually read that. So let me pull up index.php file real quick. So this is what like our index.php file looks like, something like this. So this is our index.php file, and we are more interested in the PHP part of it. So up here we see something really like interesting, which is a parameter called export mode, and we had no idea about this. We only knew about this one, the URL thingy. So this was interesting to us, and we can see, if we scroll down, we can see up here like it's like using a netcat, right? And so basically like it's taking two inputs, IP and port, right? And in IP and port, and if once like you enter IP and port, like it will try to connect to your own machine. So let me show you, like, and if I have anything else. No, I don't have it. So up here, coming back, so like it will take IP and port, and using netcat it will try to connect, but you won't get any shell because uh to get a shell, like you also need to specify another flag, like which is like minus e flag, right? So this one. So if you want to get a shell, uh let me fix this. Let me zoom in now. So like on netcat, like it's something like this. The IP goes here, the port goes here, and it's like minus e flag. And let's say if you want to run id command, so yeah, like you would, it would like run id, or if you want to get a shell, it would be like something like bin sh or bin bash, right? So we need to find a so we basically had to find a way where we could inject this thingy, this, right? So if we read our code, there's like several like checks in here. By the way, like if you are like thinking about a simple command injection like id, um like id, it won't work because up here there's another parameter. Let me scroll down. Escape shell cmd, right? So if you copy this and go to php documentation, you will see that it's a function which is basically made to prevent against command injection attack like this. But we can actually exploit, um okay, but we can actually exploit this. So let me go back to burp once again. So this is how payload would look like, or the request will look like. So navigate to like index.php export mode tcp, right? And enter the IP port, like this, by the way, like this should be your IP and the port where your netcat listener is listening in. And again we will use like plus, which is basically used to specify a space, and minus e bin bash should be over here, like it should be like bin sh, right? And go back to your like netcat listener like this, and you should receive a shell, right? And you will receive a shell as the data user. uh, from here on, like you have to perform some kind of a privilege escalation. So yeah, so in my case I ran like basic things, right? Like who am id, sudo l, or and I tried looking for like, I tried looking in like some common directories which I know where I could get something interesting, right? But I did not see anything interesting. I then ran linpiece.sh. Didn't see anything interesting, but I was messing around, and I got to find. I got to know about this like specific directory. Where is it? Let me scroll up. This one, this directory, and in here like by the way, like pswm is a password manager. It's like a command line based like linux password manager, and this is the data of it, right? So I basically copied it, and then I went to like cyber shift, and I was like maybe we can decode it, because it was looking like some base 64, but in reality this is like some kind of an encrypted data. After googling I came across this like specific script which you can use to decrypt the data. So I did the exact same thing. So I went in, where's my, huh, okay, let me see, let me see this real quick. Wait a minute. Okay, so here it is. So up here, like this basically like I downloaded this like decoder script, right? And you have to make some changes, right? So make sure to replace this with the location where you have copied the data of this thingy. Where is it? Copy this, right, and save it in a file. And then uh, replace this like location with the location of the file which you have created. And then yeah, like you can run this in the specific like decoder script, and you should see an output something like this. Run this like script, right? And yeah, like you would get actual credential of this user Elix, and you can then SSH in as this user, which I did. And I then SSH'd in as this user. Then basically then what you can do is like you can run like sudo minus l, and you will see like you have like you can basically do anything on this machine. So you can do like sudo su, and you will become root. It was this easy, guys. Well, I hope my like 10 minutes walkthrough was enough. And yeah, like thanks for tuning in, and have a great day.